Saludos cordiales desde la Oficina Regional para América Latina y el Caribe de INVAR en Quito, Ecuador. Mi nombre es Jacqueline.
I am very pleased to introduce a session on the ecosystemic systems of bamboo. There is tremendous potential with this resource to mitigate the climate change impact. So now I would like to welcome Pablo Jacomo Estrella, Regional Director for Latin America and the Caribbean from IMBAR. Welcome, Pablo. Thank you, Jacqueline, and to all participants from the world who are with us today in this session called Ecosystemic Services of the Bamboo and Guadua and their impact. This has been organized by the National Fund, Agricultural Fund, IMBAR, the National Forestry Service, and also for wildlife, the National Council of the Guadal chain in Colombia, the Ministry of Culture in Ecuador, the autonomous decentralized government in Pastaza, and leaders and representatives of the Amazonian region. Today, we began to have one of the most important meetings in the world, our Amazonia, which is the largest forest in the world and is currently undergoing a very critical point. It's called a tipping point. Why? Because the deforestation is about 40%. And the reason for that, or rather, it's going to become something dry and degraded instead of being the humid wonder that it is today. We have the local solutions. There are global solutions. And if we listen to those, we can still take action. That is why today I would like to speak about the most comprehensive plants there in our region, the bamboo, and how this resources provides practical alternatives to strengthen the livelihoods of local communities because it brings many services, ecosystemic systems that help for a sustainable development based on a circular economy and the reduction of climate change. Since 2020, many communities from the Amazon region, from Colombia and Peru, have been implementing a very innovative project called Bamboo. It is financed by several of the local bodies here present. Here we have two words that generate life, bamboo and Amazonian, and this provides the inhabitants of the territory many alternatives. And the whole idea is to avoid the tipping point. The potential for innovating based on this product is for the new generation, young people and women. They should be motivated and learn more about this resource, which is readily available, and also using the installed capacities that are there, both scientific and also the political will that is there. As you can see, this will be a wonderful conversation based on the Terry. So finally, I would like to acknowledge all the people that are participating from Bolivia, Colombia, and Peru, Carlos Restrepo, all these different people that I have been mentioning. Thank you so much for being here present, and above all, for sharing your experiences. Thank you. This was Pablo Jacomo Estrella, the Regional Director for Latin America and the Caribbean. Now, to go on with the session, we have Maya Peltona, the Director of Colombia, Guyana, Now I would like to look at her biography. She has a bachelor's degree in anthropological sciences from the National Autonomous University in Yucatan, Mexico. She has more than 15 years' experience in the intersection between public and private sectors. She's interested in financing for development, blue economy, and technology. From FIDA, she supports for more sustainable development projects, and her intervention today will be on the role of innovation and public programs for the Amazon region. Thank you. Thank you, Jacqueline. Good afternoon to everyone. And particularly, I would like to thank Pablo Jacome Imber and Pablo, who is the regional director. I am very pleased to be here with you. I wish I was there in person, but we're still in this virtual mode. But maybe soon we will be able to visit there where you are. For those of you who do not know, this National Fund for Agricultural Development is the main financer of this Bamboo Zonia project that is implemented in the 3 different countries. IMBAR emerged about 25 years ago as the result of a strategic alliance between different actors. FIDA was one of them, and today we're very happy to see that that alliance that gave tremendous results in Africa and Asia is now also providing results in Latin America. I would like to share with you why a financial institution, why a UN agency like FIDA is interested in supporting the efforts for the production of products such as bamboo. Like all of you here know, the peoples who work in the Amazon region go back thousands of years, and yet their livelihoods are at risk because of extraneous activities. Very often in a case like this, people do not pay attention to the past. They think they don't have the capacity to address deforestation or climate change impact. Second, these young people in the communities need to find ways to sustain themselves economically. But also, this addresses the local governments working in those regions. Bamboo, as Pablo said, is a product. It's a plant that has shown us all the opposite. It can be seen as an innovative solution that can really lead us in a different direction with the knowledge we still have. So the idea is to see where these resources are, change the state of mind, and see how we can make better use of what we have already. A fundamental role here is that of the government. The state has to play a role, because that is where governments, though they can mitigate the risks, they can provide technical assistance and invest in the poorest communities. But this innovative role that supports public policies is not always easy for national governments. And this is logical. This can be understood because rarely does innovation come from top to bottom. Very few times have we seen public policy stemming from the central government that can be truly called successful. This is why today I want to emphasize the role of the local governments, and that is why I think we have Jaime Guevara, because if the state truly wants to be innovative, they must get the support of the local governments, giving them the tools, the resources of financial aid to use the resources that are there in the community. So it is the local government that people go to with their ideas and their solutions. So in FIDA, we do believe that this can help us create something that will then expand nationally, so that these projects can be replicated in other parts of the country. In other words, it is scalable. For this process to be effective, we need at least 2 more elements. We first, community leaders who are interested in using the bamboo and who also have the capacity to see these new opportunities. And they need to want to be facilitators. And then we also need associates like IMBA, the local associates, that can contribute knowledge, technical support, their ideas, their experience, or even specialized public organisms. For example, here IMBAR can provide its experience and knowledge of bamboo production, not only there, but from other countries also. And then finally, FIDA wants to be part of this tremendous collective effort where communities, local and national governments, the suppliers of the technical knowledge, all of them are there in addition to the strategic associates. That's what we bet on. So when we talk of innovation or circular economy, these words don't seem to mean much, but at the end of the day, the idea is to bring together all these different stakeholders, suppliers of technical assistance, governments, state, local, so that we can all achieve this innovation. So as the director of FIDA, I thank you for the opportunity to be here. I hope you can exploit and take advantage of the next exchange, which will be very rich. It is based on the daily experiences of the people who really value the bamboo in their daily lives. Thank you. We want to thank Maya, Director of the National Fund for Agricultural Development. Thank you. Now I would like to have Jimena Londoña. She is a member of the industry in Colombia. And prior to her intervention, we're going to see a little bit about her biography. She's an agricultural engineer from the National University of Palmira. She's a specialist in bamboo. She has broad experience in the field. She's visited Indonesia, China, Thailand, India, South Korea. She has written several scientific articles regarding bamboo and Guadal. She's currently president of the National Bamboo Association, and she's also an associate researcher with many universities in Latin America. She will be talking about native bamboo in the area of influence of this project. Good afternoon. Thank you. I am pleased to be here in the presentation. Or rather, I do have a presentation. I hope you were able to see it. The idea is to talk to you about the diversity of bamboo. Bamboo in the Amazonian region. Please, let's go on with the presentation. The Amazon area is very, very diverse. Both in flora and fauna. But in what we call the Bamboozonia, this merging of words, we see the largest area covered by the Guadales of the world. This is a huge area in the northeastern part where Peru, Ecuador, and Bolivia come together. I'm just going to talk about the diversity, what we find in Capetameca in Colombia, in Ecuador, in the provinces of Napo, Moderna Santiago, and in Peru, in some other departments. In this area of influence, around at 2,000 meters above sea level, we find different species. We have herbaceous types. There we have 11 species, some that are more woody, and then we find 5 different kinds. What are the herbaceous bamboos? They're small, measuring 2 to 3 meters in height. Their stems are herbaceous, and usually in the neotropical area. Here you can see some of the most representative kind. Pariana, Cryptocloa. These bamboo are applied by the indigenous communities. They use them as medicinal plants, and they also use them in ceremonies or rituals of the ayahuasca or the yahe. They're also used to feed different kinds of animals, birds, mammals, tiger. They're also used as ornamental plants, and they're also biodegradable. Now, what are the woody bamboos? Let's look at the next one, please. These are a little bit larger. They can measure up to 35 meters high and 16 centimeters in their diameter, and the stems are very, very woody. Most of these are part of this guauda. They can have they can be individuals, or they can sort of come together and be seen as a collective. In the humid tropical forest, we've got 7 kinds of guado. And the importance of this woody bamboo, you can see that it provides a tremendous quality of wood, of timber. So it's not that useful for housing, but for fishing, for hunting. Some of these tools are also made from that, also for making baskets. How does the guada generate environmental benefits in the Amazon region? Well, we know that livestock grazing, at least in Colombia, is a very, very large economic activity. So with the guada, we could restore those areas that have been hurt, because it grows very, very quickly, particularly with the guada weberbauri or the sarcocarpa. You can see the names here written down. We can also say that the bamboo played a very big role in the construction of peace and development, because the multiplicity of what they can be used for allows us to generate jobs and improve the economy of the populations. In conclusion, the Amazon bamboos are a viable economic alternative that can contribute to agricultural diversity, providing added value products, the ecological restoration, and to the construction of social capital for the rural farming communities that inhabit the Amazon region of the Bambuzonia project. It is necessary to continue to investigate the diversity, the distribution, the coverage area, applications, the ecology, the reproductive biology, the anatomic properties, the physical and mechanical properties, phytochemistry, in order to develop the technologies and be able to use them properly. The Amazonian bamboos must be recognized, they must be investigated and then maximized in order to contribute to their preservation and to the socioeconomical development of the rural communities that live there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jimena, for your participation, in particular for expanding more on this topic of the native bamboo in the area of influence of the Bambuzonia project. This is very important information. I would like to remind everybody who's watching us that they can pose their questions in the chat. We are answering them. We have a whole team in Ecuador, Colombia, and Peru waiting to look at your questions. Now we go on to our panel with Carlos, who is the director for this project. Thank you so much, Jackie. Good afternoon to everyone. Taking into account the aim of this project, I would like to moderate this panel, including 6 experts on the topic of bamboo, of the 1,600 species that have 10,000 uses. The plant has provided incredible results among our initiatives. So first, I would like to invite Marino Velasco, He is president of the native community Campamich in Peru. He has participated actively in developmental activities of bamboo. He has led some field schools, field studies, including young people and women. So Marino's intervention will be on the traditional usage of bamboo in the community. Marino, welcome. A big, big hug. We want to hear you. Marino? My name is Marino Velasco. First, I would like to, you might want to ask, where does Pentamich is? And you might say, where does Pampamich? Where we welcome tourists, both national and international ones. So we're very pleased to have been invited to tell you about our experience. We know it as capiro, but in Spanish it's bamboo. Bamboo or capiro, my ancestors used it in a different manner from how it was used. We see it as an ordinary tool, and we also use the papyrus to get fish, and also to make a bed, a sort of bed, what is called a catre. But my ancestors would make their beds, but instead of using nails, they didn't have to use nails. So we began to have the chonta, which is the material that we use. This is a hard wood. It's used like for an arc and bow. So we use that instead of a nail for making a bed or a bench. And we also use the bamboo. What we do is we cut it. Our ancestors would get a stone and cut the bamboo, but they would twist it around, and that's where the candela came from. That's what our ancestors used, but we continue to do that. But now, thanks to this enterprise that we have in the area, we are now planting bamboo once again, and I think it has given us hopes for our children and grandchildren. There are many communities that can also use this bamboo. And as I said before, my ancestors, my grandparents, they used to bring it down. The capiro species is a very nutritious food for us. How do we prepare it? Well, usually we used it, was it with lettuce or with onion? No. What they did, when they brought it down, because maybe for building a bed. So we have here a tree that in Spanish is called the pita. That is where we weave it together to make a hut or a house. So what did they used to do? They prepared it for a salad. They would take a lime, because they didn't know salt like we know it today, table salt. They just knew stone. So what did they do? They cut the bamboo. They used it as a little dish or something else we know as bamboo, papu. We would cut it and turn it into a cup, into a little bowl, and then so they would make like a little salad using this salt rock. And you saw also with the yucca. What is the yucca just on the grill? Well, we would cook it entirely with the skin, and then once you take off the skin, and then the yucca becomes something else completely that we can eat. So we have a salad from these little parts of the yucca, of the cassava. So we are calling on all these different communities to continue to plant the bamboo. So instead of cutting it down, let us continue to plant it. And thank God, in this tourist area, we would like to invite people, tourists from all over the world, to come and visit our area. To Chanchomayo de la Merced, from there it's 7 kilometers to where we are. And you will see how we benefit from bamboo, how we're making roofs. Because before, my ancestors, when a family, for example, when somebody was ill, they would build a fire. So what did they do? They would measure a certain length. So if a person was in agony, they would put the bamboo, they would call upon the spirit. So I want to thank you once again for your invitation, and at a national level, welcome to the Pampaniche community. Please, right now we have our traditional dances. So we're calling on different communities to come and visit us and learn all about us, because this brings enormous hope for our children in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Marino. It is good to know that you call bamboo capiro. In the Amazonia, we have different populations, and they use different terminology, but they all call it bamboo. With many uses, in 8 minutes, Marino mentioned many of these uses. We have 1,001 uses for the bamboo. It is important to talk about this relationship that the bamboo creates with different areas of the Amazon region: nature, society, building industry. Right now we're going to have Daria Agui, a woman of 38, and she's a president of the Quechua women in Ecuador. Ever since 2003, she was the youth leader of the farming association along the Tena. Right now, she's studying education, and she's supporting the Bambuzonia project, and she's going to talk about the Wadua bamboo as a way of promoting consumption in the Amazon region. Go ahead. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daria Erinda. I am president of the Quiche Women Association, and I am representing Amazon women living in Ecuador. We're going to talk about bamboo, also known in our region as cachawama. It was used for building houses. It was used for handicrafts and for kitchen utensils. The bamboo was used as a food, as a source of nutrition. We recognize different types of bamboo. We have a traditional bamboo-based dish. It is considered a dish of the Amazon region. We can also talk about health when we talk about bamboo. In the past, our mothers would give birth at home. There was no way of cutting them. There was no way of performing a C-section. So the leaves of the bamboo were used as a knife in order to bring the child to this world. And we can also talk about the relationship between water and bamboo. Bamboo is a natural water treatment for our hair. Amazon women would use bamboo to wash their hair in order to promote growth of the hair, and this also fights baldness. We can also talk about bamboo leaves. Bamboo leaves are used to clean el mal de ojo, this is spiritual disease. There are different diseases for different uses for bamboo. It can also be used to fight climate change nowadays. As part of the food chain, it promotes the development of other species. We have different bamboo species, and in those species, many birds live. It is a plant. It is a plant that used to be eaten by dinosaurs, but dinosaurs disappeared, and now this is a food for birds. It is called cachawama, or the strong grass. That's the meaning of cachawama. And this has a lot of benefits to fight climate change. Talking about the bamboo land, this allows us to recover the production of food. Bamboo also allows us to get the best quality in different types of crops. And we can also build huts in our communities, and this can be used for tourism. Bamboo also allows us to have an indigenous type of economy. The different types of bamboo could help us to promote economy. I am quite concerned because the environment is getting out of control. We have seen mining companies, oil companies extracting the resources, and these extractions are finishing our forests. As women, we are shouting to the world, and thank you for giving us this opportunity. This is an opportunity that we don't have as women. We don't have the opportunity to express, to speak up about what's happening at the Amazon region. But lakes, rivers are drying up, and now the planet is asking for help, and we are not paying attention to this claim because humankind has no consciousness. But right here we are here talking about this. We are part of the humankind that is aware of the problem, and we have to promote a change. And we have a purpose as women. We have to promote life through the use of bamboo. What is going to happen if rivers dry up? Our children are going to be able to drink water. They're not going to eat gold or oil. Obviously, that is going to generate an income in the short term. But what happens to the feeding of generations? What is going to happen? Are we going to be able to feed generations? Because we need food in order to develop in different areas. So we have to start innovating. We're going to start step by step, but we need to do something. We have to continue our struggle. We have to promote different ideas. We have to implement best ideas like the WAMAC community. We have to make sure that rights are observed. We have to be managers of the bamboo lands in our own forest. we have to promote the indigenous economy, as I was mentioning. Why can't we say that the forest is a biome, the cradle of life? Is it possible to say that our rivers need our help? We want to be aware of the situation. We want a region that is alive and safe. We have to create awareness in order to live longer. We have to innovate. We have to start protecting flora and fauna. We need to protect animals in the Amazon region because the Amazonia is the lung of the world. And we have to understand this. So let's put our heart and our hands, let's put our hands on our hearts and say that we are going to be conscious and that we are going to save our planet. We are going to save the world from society itself, from the society that is not paying attention to life. But we are here. Indigenous women are here to continue the struggle, and we are going to continue thinking about bamboo. Thank you. Thank you, Daddy. Very nice words. We need to generate an economy for the daily lives of the different communities. We have to think about including bamboo for the sustainable development of the forest. We need to live longer by respecting, by innovating, not to extract, but to protect. Thank you, Daddy, for your participation. I think we are noting some guidelines and some ideas from the different perspectives that we have heard from different members of Peru and Ecuador. And now we're going to continue with Colombia, with the representation of Carlos. Carlos has more 20 years in the field of bamboo. He was the founder of the Agro Micheira Foundation, and he is part of the board of directors of the Acatua municipality. He is also part of the council of the supply chain in Colombia, and he's going to talk about Guadua as a means of peace in the Amazonia, as a circular type of economic tool. Good afternoon, Carlos. I want to thank you, and I want to thank everyone. And I am in Cartagena. Carlos, can you please start my presentation? So as Carlos was saying, we are going to give you a presentation about bamboo, the bamboo as a peace tool in the Amazon region. So we're going to work with this deck. Bamboo can be a circular economy model and a supply chain without deforestation. Bamboo is a climate hero because it has a high level of renewability and the social importance it has for communities, apart from the potential it has from a farming perspective, and the use that we can give it in terms of sustainable development. So we have a huge potential of development for bamboo. On this slide, we have an interpretation of the three elements of a circular economy. It is important to understand them in order to understand bamboo. We have the cropping, the productivity, and the sustainability. These three tools together can help the different Amazonia communities and the different territories in order to face and to finish with conflicts in the area. In the case of Latin America, it is important to have an economy model in countries where we have bamboo based on cropping, production, linked to the sustainability of the resource, showing how the vertical chain can be strengthened by providing without cutting trees and participating in the market as a substitute of timber, because bamboo is not timber, but it is a substitute. It helps us work with different rural and social aspects of the building process. On this image, you can see the systemic reasoning and the horizontal dialogue. These are two tools for the Amazonia, for the Amazon region, because we have to look at this region from the perspective of peace and how we can use bamboo to help communities become more dynamic so they can start reinventing new thoughts in order to achieve concrete actions in these conflict areas. Bamboos have a lot of and they have a cultural component in our peoples. They need to create a reality that breaks down this exploitation-based economy, interpreting the systemic way of thinking with instruments in order to promote the development of renewable consumption products. So we need to understand the economic value of bamboo, but we need to understand the social component of bamboo. And this is going to allow us to boost the development of communities. We have to work as a network in order to fight climate change. That's why we are talking about a bamboo-based bioeconomy as a network, and this has a great advantage from the perspective of social development and farming development. It is a bioeconomy with a social component, an inclusive type of economy, a constructive economy. And this can allow us to achieve a number of possibilities, promoting change, innovation, and the passage from a gray economy to a circular economy. Why? Because bamboo has got different components, social, political, and economic components, and they can help us understand governance. Governance understood as a public policy, as a booster of economy, allowing producers and communities to develop. On the screen, we have bamboo as the core, and we have the governments to the left. We have the national government of Colombia. This is where we have the different departments and the different municipal governments. We also have the production chain of bamboo in Colombia. Here we have to talk about the different regional bamboo committees that work in the different departments. And they are part of the national agreement for the production of bamboo. And we have local organizations and all those involved along the chain. Handcrafters, traders, carpenters, builders. And we have the INBA, the International Bamboo and Rattan Organization. This is a way of showing how organization can help improving economies and social dynamics by means of bamboo. We have been talking about environment services. This is another potential that bamboo has. In Latin America, we can have a bamboo-based economic model boosting the situation, the current situation, allowing us to achieve productivity, the recovery of eroded areas, The recovery of biological corridors and the change of land use represent a possibility in order to fight the adverse effects of climate change. Then on this slide we can see that if we continue supporting international organizations like the IFAD, INBAR, and not only international organizations, if we strengthen these organizations based on bamboo-based production models, well, look at the slide. How we can make these processes more streamlined. This is the beginning of a journey. Many of us will continue walking this journey by means of sustainability, being resilient and flexible without breaking, just like bamboo. I have shown you a number of slides, and they are based on the experience that we have achieved by means of the Bambusonia project in the Amazon region in Ecuador, Peru, and Colombia. The purpose of this project is to implement actions to fight climate change and also activities in order to promote the development of small producers. This is a comprehensive strategy with bamboo at its core, and I can see a huge potential for bamboo in Latin America, especially in degraded areas. I want to thank you, and I want to say that you have to think about bamboo all the time, because bamboo is poetry for humankind. Thank you, Carlos. It is very important to note what you are mentioning, the different types of developments that we can achieve based on this tool. Thank you, Carlos. And now we have Yama Atanay from Peru. Yama is a social communicator, and she promotes the culture of the Aguajume. She is director of Cyber Amazona, and she collaborates with Ojo Público. She is an indigenous leader at Rio Solitore in Oaxaca, in the department of San Martin, and she's going to talk about Wadua bamboo as a key element of the Amazon ecosystem. Welcome. The world is listening to you. Thank you, Carlos. Hello, I was just saying hello in my language. It is a great pleasure to share this space with you. Thank you very much for the invitation. Let me start with a story. I will try to summarize it in a song. In our culture, this story talks about Nongqui, the spirit of Mother Earth. The daughter of Nongqui asks Bamboo to take her home. Bamboo bows towards the daughter of Nongqui, and she goes back home by means of bamboo. Our origin as you can see, is very much related to bamboo. Bamboo is the origin of our culture, we can say. So, right now, in the Amazon region, at Morona, in Rio Santiago, at Cenepa, in this region we can see how our forefathers and mothers tell us about buildings made or built with bamboo. Our architecture was bamboo-based. We have been losing this knowledge. However, now we are trying to recover this knowledge in the San Martin area. And can we continue with the slide deck? In the San Martin region, we have natural bamboo forests in Huasta. Huasta, a nearby community. In Huasta, we have worked in the field to train students so they can learn about how to handle the production of bamboo. So in this process we have the involvement of young people, women, and wise men and women. And now they are looking at the significance of bamboo from the perspective of our culture. This knowledge that we have lost and the uses that we used to have, right now we are trying to recover, to rescue this knowledge. In Jarao, they also have many pieces of land, and now they see that they can develop innovation in order to have a sustainable economy based on bamboo. On this slide, we can see a natural bamboo forest in the community of Huasta. We are talking about 10 hectares approximately. Right now we are looking for strategic alliances. We want local and national universities to come. We want university students to come and practice in these forests in order to develop additional uses with added value. This is something that was not known in the past because people didn't have access to this type of knowledge. There was an island with a full bamboo forest, and it was completely cut down. Our forefathers say that Spaniards would exchange clothing for bamboo. That's why this forest was cut down very quickly because of the accessibility to this area. Right now in our community, in the Rio Soritor, well, we are part of the Naranjillo municipality. Monocrops have invaded our land. 70% of our 1,200 hectares have been cut down. Many families in our communities are creating awareness, and they are becoming resistant in order to preserve these forests. One of the alternatives is bamboo. On the picture we see Don Pedro. Don Pedro works with bamboo in different areas by means of the Bambuzonia project. And he says, I want to do something. I want to leave something for my children and grandchildren. So he would say that this used to be a paradise when they arrived, with a huge diversity of fruit trees, birds, fish, and now everything is gone. In recovered forests, birds are coming back. And he's in charge of this, and he's betting on a future based on bamboo. in 4 or 5 years, we can have a bamboo forest, unlike other forests that can take up to 10 years. As I was telling you, our forefathers and mothers would use bamboo-based construction for walling, for thatching, sorry. But this has been lost. But now we want to recover this, but with an added value. And this is our bed. We want to have a sustainable economy. We want to be economically autonomous. We want to be independent. We want governments and organizations to support us in order to develop projects along with the municipality without losing old knowledge and the connection with the soil. This is one of the principles of our indigenous communities. Sometimes we talk about the horizontal perspective. We're all part of the same system, and so we have to be respectful of one another. So thank you for this space. Thank you for giving me your attention. Thank you. This was a melody to our ears. This is how the forest works. The forest is a melody to our ears. You talked about architecture, construction, how to take care of the forest, the participation of a number of agencies in order to develop projects like this project. And now we have Maya. And now I want to invite Jaime Brasque, mayor of Pastaza. He is an agronomist. He was manager of the Fomento Industrial Bank, and he has been mayor of Pastaza ever since 2005. He is committed to the economic and environmental development of the region. And he's going to talk about the support of local governments for the development of the bamboo industry. Without the participation of the government, we would not be able to have projects in this territory. Mayor, you are more than welcome to start your presentation.
Good afternoon, dear Carlos. Please receive our greetings from the Pastaza province, right in the center of the Amazonian region. Now, because of lack of time, what I want is to share an experience that we have had in environmental management. And through this, we have created the Research Center of Pindo Mirabor. What have we done? Well, we have called on social participants so they can allow us to have a particular space for bamboo so that we can see people in theory and practice how they develop. So we have created a space to contribute with bamboo. And we have various participants from NGOs. We have the NCI Foundation. They also gave us quite a bit of support. Then after that, we began to articulate together with IMBA. So we signed a letter of agreement, and it was on May 5th of 2020, right in the midst of the pandemic, and we showed that we can still comply with an agenda that was needed despite the pandemic. So our essential agreement was to implement activities to foster the bamboo chain, and to do this in practice, in theory, but also to provide livelihoods to our people, to see bamboo as a resource that would give them income. Because before it was used to make scaffolding or ladders, they didn't really see the commercial value in it. It was not easy to change the mindset. But right then, because of the health conditions and the economic crisis, we were able to move forth a bit. So through this alliance between the public and private sectors, and the rules were clear for all, I want to say that our institution, which is a decentralized, autonomous organization, we have 4 mayors of all these different departments that I just mentioned, and we also have representatives of parochial councils. So it was in those conditions that we created a regulation that enables us to say, to have a rule, a regulation for the chain and sustainable production of bamboo in the province of Pastaza. So what do I want with this? Well, to maximize competitiveness in the handling, the management, and making the best possible use of bamboo, so that we can have parameters, demanding parameters. We want to be competitive. So what are we looking for with this? We would like to have 12,000 plants of bamboo every single year. And the idea is to implement this with the support of the NGOs. They have been very, very kind with us, very generous. And also INBA, they are the experts in this last quarter. We will be closing the year not with 12,000 plants, but with 10,000. Which is pretty good. So now we need to train our local colleagues, our local technicians. The idea is to have 8 technicians. And the idea is to have a methodology to train these people who will then train many more people. And then the mechanism that we work with here, these are what we call field schools. We haven't selected the entire population, but from each of the cantons we have chosen those that are most adequate, where there has been better engagement. So in the Pastaza department, for example, we have Amuriando, we have Libertad, Fatima. Regarding Araujo, we have 2 communities, Sihuacocha and Eripe. Then in Santa Clara, we also have people right in the center, and in San Francisco del Curin. So I should say that in Santana, you can see that our province is the largest in the country, and it is the least populated, but we have 7 of the 14 nationalities, Quichuas, Pachuar, Cuadrani, Separo, Sibian, and Dos. So because of that, we want to move forward. And then there's also the academy. The academy has to give us the method. And we also have cleaned up water bodies. And the idea is to have the, through bamboo, we want to have like an international day. We want to create the entrepreneurship, the training that our people need, our colleagues need, so that we have workshops to learn how to make the most use out of bamboo. And the idea is to do it in practice. in the with Sacoser, in our friends from Tarqui, and also for creating arts and crafts. Here we have some important allies, for example, in gender equity, through the provincial sponsorship. There is a group called Learn How to Enterprise. So through this practice, we've been able to maximize what we have. So far, in 2021, when we see what we started out with, we've mobilized about $90,013. The provincial government probably gave about 50,000, and then the friends from IMBA have also given some money, about 148,148. And our experience is that it is possible to associate the public and the private, and to do so with discipline. So we are providing options for having this noble plant that can help us reduce carbon emissions and care for the water bodies that are good for human consumption. So in conclusion, we say we have a short time working with bamboo, but we want to thank INBA, and we would like to spread the knowledge that we have in this largest province in our country with a huge rainforest, and a large percentage has been preserved. This is what I wanted to share with you in this very brief time. This is the right moment to continue to learn how to use this noble plant that will help us provide more income from our people. Please receive our greetings from our department. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to you from the largest province of Ecuador, one of the most biodiverse regions in Ecuador, and a part of biodiversity. This entire process is, of course, very important. Without these efficient mechanisms that benefit and help fulfill the local needs and for the development of these people. As you say, you have 7 of the 14 nationalities, and you spoke of the multiple actors, public and private sectors, NGOs, international cooperation bodies, all under the guidance of a provincial government, and also for developing a value chain, not only with IMBAR, but many other actors that have connected with this for this type of management. Thank you once again, and in all that has been said, for example, we've spoken of gender and the intergenerational development. Now, I would like to give the floor to Shakira Andy. She's 25 years old. She is part of the Runashito community, and she belongs to the Chonta Punta parish in Napo province. She's a tourism engineer and participates in different activities, both for forest management and also in training programs for the sustainable management of bamboo. Thank you, Shakira. She will speak to us about the role young people play in bamboo development. Welcome. Thank you. I'm Shakira Andy. I'm a promoter of tourism. I come from the Runashito community, from the Chonta Punta parish. I'm a Quechua woman who represents young people in the Amazonian region, and so I have been part of the field schools and also the group of trainers. It is a pleasure to share this with you, where we can see how the initiative of the bamboo gains strength throughout the entire Amazonian region. We have been able to witness how men and women, and particularly young people, who have the incentive to learn and acquire the experience with bamboo. We learn the usage, the development of sound, tools, some for hunting, also for the construction of housing, all of this for a better quality of life. The usage traditions and the cultivation traditions, the knowledge has been quite scarce in our region due the loss of transfer of knowledge between generations. But now with the new technologies, we want to use the new tools. Now in the communities, there is a big impact for due to mining, the extraction of flora and fauna. So this means that through the tradition and innovation, very often as young people, we lose control. We lose sight of all this, and we believe that to maintain the tradition means not changing it forever, but that doesn't really give us what we want, because it might lead to its complete disappearance. However, this shows that through innovation, we can reduce the rates of deforestation and have the potential to revolutionize this primary product. By maintaining the significance of bamboo as a resource that allows us to maintain livelihoods. So the idea is to create a sustainable development for developing the economies in the rural communities. So as a young Amazonian, I propose we rescue our identity. We should be inspired by our forefathers, because we are losing our general culture as Quichuas. I would like to work on a brilliant mission together with young people in order to develop bamboo management in a sustainable manner and to work in a team for the future change of our planet through reforestation, by fostering the development of bamboo as a strategic resource. Once again, looking at our knowledge and tradition, I believe this will enable us to have a quality of life for preserving biodiversity. If we don't take care of it today, we will never have it in the future. So I would like to call on each of you so you can see that we who are young would like to learn much more about bamboo, to know where we can go with our message, to whom we should address ourselves. I want to be listened to. I want you to know that we need people and organizations. We need their support. And this way we can have a further reach in the world. So all of you who are listening, please put your hands on your heart and know that we need your support. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I hope you have been able to hear me and understand my message as a Quichuan Amazonian woman who represents youth. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shakira. I think it is important to speak of young people, the young people of innovation. But in the Amazon, they're innovation, but they're also rescuing, trying to maintain their tradition and transfer that knowledge and embrace it. It is very complex work, but it's also a good proposal to work as a team, to work for the future. To work as a team is very important. The knowledge of bamboo among the young will expand towards the rest of the community. And this is the message that Shakira is sending on behalf of Amazonian youth working on bamboo. This is what she would like to see, that the support continues and the cooperation continues among international and governmental organizations. The message is to work with youth for the sustainable development of bamboo. Well, thank you so much, Shakira. A huge hug for your presentation. And I think the voices of the young have been heard. Now, with part of the members of IMBA, we will try to answer some of the questions that have arisen. We would like to thank every person who has been following us, both in Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru, and in the rest of the world. I think the important thing is that we set our path based on the Amazonian needs and for the Amazonian region. There have been many questions. So let us, we'll start talking with some of our panel members. Some of the questions are quite technical, the irrigation needs, growth cycles. But I would like to listen to the experience. I think some important things were mentioned. With Llano Tamain, I would like to give him a few more minutes to go more in depth into what he was saying. Llano, are you still there? Are you there? You spoke about the ecosystemic services of bamboo. But from the outlook of the community, what is the relationship of bamboo with water, fauna, and the soil in the Amazonian regions? How do you see the bamboo developing in that very complex system? In the horizontal projections, if we look at everything that the bamboo produces, I remember how the forefathers used to talk to me about the diversity of fauna that comes about because of bamboo. Because we say that the bamboo calls the water. So it creates moisture in the soil, and the diversity of fauna can live there. But it is it hurts to see that is getting lost. As I was saying before, in San Martin, some of this is being lost because outsiders, we call them apache, have been using those resources in a manner that is not sustainable. This was used in the past for our architecture, so the whole money management is quite recent. We did not really realize how the important was so important. The outsiders came in and they basically disappeared thousands of hectares of the rainforest. It is very important to acquire information for a sustainable development, to have a more secure local economy. So the forests used to be areas of wealth. We want to go back to that. Right now, with women, with young people, we want to work with all this with an added value. Always the relationship between the community and the forest has been very close. They're all beings, and we have tried to take care of them. So we do want to rescue that entire world without losing that ancestral knowledge and our own perceptions in how to manage the forest, the rainforest. Thank you, Yano. I think it is important to highlight all this. There are many questions regarding the technical management of bamboo. But something that's important is how bamboo becomes a part of daily life. For each of these models of the fincas, of the big properties that are so part of the local identity. Daddy mentioned something. I don't know if Daddy's still with us. There were many uses that you mentioned. Of all these, Daddy, which uses are the ones that are truly used in a daily manner and that are part of the Amazonian tradition from the vision that your people have? There's about 5,000 years of history with bamboo. If we bring our three countries together, Marino mentioned it too, Yanua also. Shakira also talked about this, about the uses, the recovery of all this knowledge. Can you talk about this a bit, the traditional uses of bamboo, and how little by little through your work you have been able to recover all this? The traditional use of bamboo for us is multiple in the communities. Not only it's in construction, but in arts and crafts, in kitchen tools, in Amazonian gastronomy, for health. Also how to maximize the nutrients for our soils. And to have other potential uses, we have to maintain our natural resources and begin the reforestation in the areas that have been degraded. We have seen that bamboo has not only helped Ecuador, it has helped the world. But it provides economic revenues. And in the production and management of these guaduales, we can transform an indigenous community for our communities. Thank you. That is very important in our closing statements. I want to thank everyone. This has been a vision from within. Thank you all. Thank you so much for being with us. A big hug from the Amazonian region. Thank you, Carlos, and all the people that have come together despite the situation that we have worldwide because of COVID. All of this has been transformed into a community to defend the rights of the communities and their environment with gender equality. Bamboo has been a main resource in the territories. Now I want to ask Roberto Roli from the Ministry of Culture in Ecuador to share with us some of his thoughts. Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. This has been a significant virtual effort. The ecosystemic services of bamboo, Guadal, and its relationship with the livelihoods in the Amazonian region. We started out talking about deforestation in the Amazonian region. This is not only, of course, in the Ecuador part, but in all of the Amazonian region, and the numbers are still alarming. More than 40% of the deforestation is in the Amazonian region, and plants like bamboo, because of its diverse species, does provide some hope. I would like to mention 3 items. One is to consider bamboo with all it can contribute in its ecosystemic things through the capture of CO2, the ecological restoration, the recovery of soils, good practices on the social side. For livelihoods, it strengthens culture through the ceremonies, ancestral ceremonies, the transfer of knowledge. It's part of increasing energy of life, and it has a close interrelationship with our indigenous peoples who are connected to nature. Bamboo is a tool of peace also, as Carlos said. Bamboo is considered for an intelligent and sustainable production, for employment, reactivation of the local economy. It also can be used for medicine, for food, for community tourism, for agro-industry. There are multiple uses that we have in order to maximize this circular economy. In conclusion, it is important to promote a model of sustainable development to foster love of life. Our Amazonian region is alive and it has conscience. We want to create more awareness. We want to look at the different levels that is there, the International Cooperation Academy, industry. If we bring all this together, we can foster private and public alliances for generating public local policies. So it's important to mention that in Ecuador, at the Ministry of Culture and Agriculture, they have been talking about bamboo plantations. There is a public policy, and the idea is to give low interest credit for fostering the cultivation of the species, and also to provide knowledge on the experience of everyone participating in this, to look at the value chain that bamboo creates. So bamboo is really the life and the future that has multiple uses, and that will undoubtedly enable us to strengthen the livelihood in the Amazonian region. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I think this virtual forum has been excellent. Thank you, Minister.
In order to finish, we're going to have Miriam Sardana from the Association of Forests from Peru, from Peru. Thank you, Jacqueline. For me, it is a great pleasure to be here on behalf of the Forest Institute of Peru, led by Jorge Amaya. I want to thank INBAR and the International Fund for Agricultural Development for giving me the opportunity to close this session of the Global Forum Landscape. about bamboo and the livelihood in the Amazonia. I want to thank the participation of the different speakers. All of them were very interesting. These presentations allow us to see the different development potentials that we have in Ecuador, Peru, and Colombia. I want to thank the different participants from the different countries. And as we were told, this is a salute for everyone because the world is listening to us. Now, talking about the presentations and bamboo, I would like to share with you three ideas, three perspectives about the session. Number one, I want to talk about the different roles of based-related actors. In the case of Peru, this is natural, and this is and the bamboo is natural, and it has also been introduced. Bamboo is very important because it allows us to boost an emerging chain. It is an economic activity in the northwestern part of our country, and it is an alternative for sustainable development. This is extremely important, especially after the pandemic. It is very urgent to activate our economies in our countries. It is also important to talk about the importance of bamboo in the different areas: supplies, support, and cultural aspects. We have had very important, very interesting presentations, and these presentations tell us how bamboo is linked to culture, to society. We even had a song during the presentations, and they have shown us that bamboo is part of the cosmovision of many of our original cultures. The production of bamboo, the sustainable development of bamboo, matches the 7 sustainable development goals. Number 1, to reduce poverty. Number 7, it provides modern energy sources. And 11, it allowing access to affordable housing. 12, the use of natural resources by means of responsible consumption. And 13, the goal about climate change. 15, the restoration of ecosystems. All of these SDGs have been mentioned throughout the different presentations that we have witnessed today. SDG 17 talks about the achievement of all these objectives, and we are here with participants from different areas: the civil society, government, different international organization representatives. These type of alliances are fundamental in order to promote the development of bamboo. We have to ensure the development of bamboo in our countries, and this calls for a clear type of governance with the inclusion of actors at a regional and at a national level. We need to have public policies, as we mentioned at the beginning of this session. This is not something that we can achieve from top to bottom. This has to be a dynamic construction that needs to take into consideration what's happening in the field. That is to say, we need to have a bottom-to-top perspective, and for this we need the articulation of the different stakeholders. I want to thank you for the presentations, and with this I am going to close this session on bamboo and the relationship that it has with the livelihood in the Amazonia. I want to thank you for your participation. Have a good evening. Thank you. I want to thank all the participants and all the attendees. We are the International Organization on Bamboo and Rattan. If you need further information, you can go to our social pages. And I say goodbye to you from Quito in Ecuador.